Hello guys and welcome to Greg's Chan 1. I am Greg and this is Channel 1. Now in this video today I'm doing the second round between two animes that are currently in an anime off. This is the one between you and me and Your Lie in April. Now, I'm going to be going into. I'm going to be changing the structure a little on how I'm going to be comparing them as such. Try and make it a little bit more structured because I kind of waffled and all that in the first episode. So I'm just going to give it. Well, it was a pilot episode, so never mind. Yeah, so put simply, I'm just going to explain the basics of what I'm going to try and do from now on. So I'm going to put the four main characters that I've got from You and Me, and the four main characters that I've got from Your Lie in April, and kind of just say, who seems to be the most important in character importance, and if they are better or worse than their theoretical counterpart in the other show. In Your Lie in April, which is this one, you have Kusei, Kaori, Tsubaki, and Watari. These are the four main characters that you see, or have seen in the first two episodes. It's obvious that the two that's going to get the most focus are this chap here, Kusei, and Kaori. Yeah. And they seem to be very, very strong leads. And it feels almost like Watari and Tsubaki are kind of like side characters. They're kind of only there just to improve the other two characters. They are there to kind of make the other two characters look better and look stronger and so on and so forth. Whereas with You and Me, which is that one, you have Yuki, Yuta, Shun, Kaname. I haven't quite met this chap yet. Hopefully he shows up in the next episode. But in the first episode, you've got these four chaps. And there doesn't seem to be a main character as such. It seems like all four are important to an equal amount, which is something that I do quite like. Because it feels like all four are important for their own personal stories they're going to be encountering over the episodes. I just thought I'd cut through that, and now I'm going to go into my positives and negatives of each episode. Try and compare them that way. Explain, what I was expecting from to follow up from the first episode into the second episode, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we'll start off with You and Me. So we'll start off, and I'm going to get the negatives out of the way straight away because I don't want to leave the negatives to be the last thing that I speak about. So there didn't seem to be an initial. There seemed to be a moral of the story, but it didn't seem to be the correct one until you actually thought about the episode as a whole. And the moral of the story appeared to be that helping someone is bad somehow. Which I didn't quite understand. It didn't quite make sense. However, upon thinking about it a little, thinking about the episode and what it was trying to show, is helping is good, but it's about learning to ask for help when you need help. Because Shun, which is the guy that I showed you with the reddish hair, he's a nice guy. He's very likable, I think. Considering the fact that the show comes across as a bit I mean, the lazy voice acting is a big issue for me. The voice acting is just so it feels almost the only person who seems to have a character is Shun. His voice actor seems to sound a little more interesting than his counterparts, which is a shame. The episode was damn slow. It picked up later on, but it was pretty slow for quite a majority of the episode. Which, considering the episode was only 25 minutes, yeah. The story was a bit dull. I mean, it got better as the episode went on, which I will come to in a bit when I go on to the positives. This cat theme, what the hell is with the cats? I don't understand. It makes no sense. And it's really, really annoying me. Characters, they're not great, but you can see that there's a lot of potential. But I want to see some proper progression, some proper character developments for everyone. Those were my negatives. So let's go into positives. The positives, and balance it out as best as I can before I give you the score that I gave it, because it was an improvement on the first episode. It by far. Shun being a lovely character, and it highlighting the fact that he is a nice guy, which I thought was lovely, because he's a character you kind of want to root for, a character you kind of want to see, a character you kind of want to see grow, very much like the name of the episode, The Day the Tulips Bloomed, and it feels almost like the friendships are going to bloom, and they're going to go through the harsh winters of high school and come out still friends, which I hope, purely because it seems like that's kind of what they're going to try and symbolise at, which I liked the idea of. There seem to be little bits of symbolism throughout the episode, which was very, very sweet. The episode got so good as it got on. It started off so slow, dull, that it started to slowly pick up, and as you got little gems here and there with some great development for Shun as a character, you really saw that he's the nice guy of the group. B, he seems to get on with practically everyone in the group. C, he seems to be the one that is always worrying about everyone else, and so wants to keep being the nice guy. Because if he's still the nice guy, everyone will be happy, and that's kind of what he's going for, and I like it. The comedy moments were fantastic. I was really impressed. I was like, well, hey, this is how you do comedy. There's a particular scene where, because during the episode, a girl who Shun helps decides she's going to pick on him all episode. And there's a great scene where Shun and Kaname are walking to a lesson or something. Or are they going to lunch? They might be going to lunch, but they see a bit of rope on the floor, and they think, oh, we know what she's going to try. She's going to wait for us to get close, and then pull it, and we trip and we fall. So, they get close, they pull the rope. It's just a mannequin body. But in there, Kaname, in his shock, kicks it, and it hits the teacher. And so they both get into trouble. So, Shun still ends up with the bad luck. And it seems to be, throughout the episode, he's just getting so much bad luck because this kid has it out for him. He's like, what did I do wrong? I'm sorry. I don't know what I did wrong. And it was kind of funny because, like I said, the voice actor who voices him showed a little bit of character, showed a little bit of energy, and it was fun to watch. The transitions between flashback and current day episode. Oh, I love them. I said in the first episode, and yet again, they're proving that this is probably going to be a theme that's going to be recurring. I really like it because it does it in like a watercolor way, where it's almost like a watercolor picture, and then it kind of just goes all white around a particular section, and then it kind of clicks into that little picture that it's made, and the little picture then acts, and that's what happens. And that was quite nice. That was really quite nice to see. because it kind of made you go, oh, okay, and then it transitions out the same way, and that was quite cool. Yeah, so as a whole, that was a very, very good episode. I'm not going to go into the score. I'm going to go into the score once I've once I've spoken about Your Lie in April. So we'll call that, and now we're going to go to Your Lie in April. Okay, this episode was called Friend A. One of my biggest issues is it played on the perceived pervert cliche again. Kusei looks like he's going to take a photo, and because of in the first episode, one of the last things that happened, in the build up to the end of the episode, Kaori's doing a cool music thing with the kids, to which wind gusts up her skirt, brings her dress up a little, just as Kusei's taking a picture. So she thinks he's trying to take a picture up her skirt. And so she beats the hell out of him. And they kind of bring it back where it looks like he's going to take a photo, if I remember right. Yeah. He's trying to take a photo, and she's like, oh, he's going to try and get another dirty shot because he's a dirty pervert. And it's like, okay, it was kind of funny the first time, purely because of the awkwardness of it. But we don't need to see it again. I don't like Kusei. He comes across as very up his own jackasy, and it was annoying. I really didn't like I don't like his character very much, because he's depressing. 2, he seems oblivious to the fact that Tsubaki likes him. 3, where do I begin? Because he's depressing. He seems oblivious that Tsubaki likes him, which is almost plain. She may as well have just written "I love you, Kusei" on her forehead. And the fact that he just it's kind of the way that he talks to people. He kind of talks like he thinks he knows better, and like other people are a bit stupid, and it annoys the hell out of me, because it's there wasn't really much progress in this episode, which I was a little gutted about, because I kind of expected it to progress on the first episode and kind of build all the characters. But like I said earlier, when I was doing the two sets of 4 against each other, in the fact that they are 4 characters, and the fact that it's Kusei and Kaori who seem to be the main characters, with Tsubaki and Watari as just foils to make the other 2 look good. And so Watari and Tsubaki didn't really get much development this episode, which annoyed me. But Kusei and Kaori were kind of highlighted a lot. I like the fact that it highlighted Kaori, because obviously she only showed up right at the very end of the first episode, so it obviously gave you an insight into who she was, and I liked that. And I kind of feel really sorry for Tsubaki. It's a negative because of the way that it was done, but you can tell Tsubaki's in the friend zone, and I kind of feel for her because of it, because of the way that it was kind of done. It was kind of done in a way of, Kusei just kind of looked through her, in a way, and that kind of really annoyed me. Right, let's go on to the positives. It started right where the episode 1 ended, and I loved that, purely because it was almost like a seamless, if you were to watch episode 1 and 2 straight after each other, it would flow, and I really liked that. That was really good. I was quite impressed. I was like, ooh, let's see what happens. The soundtrack was phenomenal. oh, that soundtrack, and the way that they used the music in the respective. It started off where it was almost the same tune being played by a couple of different sets of musicians, and then Kaori comes up and does her own style of it, which makes all the judges kind of go, "What? She's not doing it properly," but they couldn't help but enjoy it at the same time, which I thought was quite cool. And I know I was just complaining about Kusei, but there was a lot of nice development with him, where you found out a bit about him as a, you find out a bit about, how he kind of, you could tell that he kind of likes Kaori, but he's not going to do anything because of his mate Watari, which I thought does make him a little likable, but he's not that likable. Tsubaki, they kind of highlighted the fact that she was. It felt like they were just kind of pointing out Tsubaki likes Kusei, but Kusei is never going to like her because we got a blonde chick. We got a blonde chick that does music, whereas Tsubaki is all about playing baseball, or is it softball? Baseball, softball. She's a physical sporty player, but she's really, really insecure, and that was quite sweet because you could kind of tell. I still think they chose the wrong voice actress for her, but I did quite like it. I did quite like what happened with her character. Woo! For the little bit that she was in. Visuals, as usual, were just great. They kind of made the visuals even better, and they opened up a lot of potential plot points in the respect of potential for Kusei and Kaori to become a couple, and to see how that affects Watari and Tsubaki. Potential for Watari to come into the spotlight a little, trying to keep Kaori away from Kusei. And then you've obviously got the potential plot point of what's going to happen to poor Tsubaki, the poor friend zone girl. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that because there's not too much else I want to really say, because otherwise this video is going to be over 400 years old. Something like that. I'm going to give them both the scores. We'll start off. You and Me scored 2.8 out of 5. Much better than the first episode. 0.6 is quite a jump. It was almost a 3. If the episode had not been as slow, and if the moral had been a little bit clearer, what they were trying to get across, a bit clearer, a bit earlier, then it probably would have been a 3, maybe something higher. Your Lie in April has actually slipped a little. 3.1 out of 5. I gave it a 3.6, I think it was. 3.6, 3.8, one of those two, because it was a really, really strong first episode. But the second episode just didn't really match up to it as much as I expected it to. However, that does mean Your Lie in April has 2 points, and You and Me is on 0. Now, obviously, as I said, it's a 3-episode thing, so it obviously means Your Lie in April has 1. However, I'm going to watch episode 3 just to see whether it would have been a clean sweep. It looks like it could be, especially if they go on the plot points that I kind of highlighted. Other than that, there's nothing else to say, really. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up. You can subscribe here, or subscribe here. Leave your thoughts and opinions on the episodes in the comment section below. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking. Other than that, have a good day, alright guys?